Welcome back to the Daily Devotional series. We are on day number 25. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm just so proud of you for being consistent with me through these 25 days now, because it's not easy. And I just want to put that out there because it's not easy to stick to something consistently. And it's definitely not easy to stick to prioritizing the Lord easily. Like, it's probably one of the hardest things that we have to be disciplined on in life, because it's against our human nature of just doing what we want to do and doing what just feels good and what's easy, right? It's completely against our nature, because meeting with God and being disciplined with prioritizing time with Him is not always easy, and it's not always fun, right? And that's something that I just want to touch on, because I think so many people get wrapped up in needing some sort of feeling when they meet with God or when they're in prayer or whatever that they do, and they don't receive it. And so they feel like, what's the point? It's not working. Or, why do I have to make time for this if it's not doing anything for me? And that can be really difficult. I've definitely been there. It's definitely been something that I've struggled with in the past, which is why I wanted to commit to this daily devotional, because I know when I have something to follow, it makes it easier for me to prioritize that time with God. If I'm just kind of like winging it and being like, oh, well, I'm just gonna set aside 20 minutes every morning, but I don't have something that I'm doing, it can be really tough, and it can be easy to allow other things to take up that time instead and get in the way. So I just want to acknowledge you for being consistent here with me, and acknowledge myself for being consistent with this, because this is actually a challenge that I wanted to I kind of wanted to do this for me. Obviously, I wanted to share this with you, but I wanted to do this for me because I have been really not disciplined and really kind of all over the place with my time in the morning, especially my time with God. And so I wanted to get back to that consistency and back on track and challenge myself with holding myself accountable with you. So I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for being part of this journey with me. Let's go ahead and dive into today. I just wanted to make that little note for you. But today is titled, You Are Voice. Not you are a voice, but you are voice. And the verse of the day comes from Psalm 33:6. By the word of the Lord, the heavens were made, and all the host of them by the breath of His mouth. So it says, part of understanding your divine identity is understanding who God is and how you're made in His image. We don't know what God physically looks like, but we do know what He sounds like. Think about how this all started. God spoke and said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God is Father. God is teacher. But I think we often forget how God is first and foremost creator. Not a magician that snapped his fingers and said, "Give me some humans." He spoke life into being, and from His words alone created something out of nothing. Plus, John 1:1 reminds us that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It's who God is. We're created in His image, a living Word. God is voice and uses voice to create new ideas, miracles, and solutions. His voice is both the vision and the vehicle to our promised land. Again, we're created in His image here too. When we use our voice as an extension of God's voice, we create the way God creates. To that end, you don't just have a voice, you are voice. It's central to your identity. Your voice is the larger message that your life and beliefs are naturally meant to convey. Your voice unlocks the greater purpose and possibilities in others. The journaling question today asks, what thoughts come up for you when you begin to embrace the notion that voice is central to your core identity? Today was one of my absolute favorites, and I genuinely mean that. I know I say every day that I love it and it's so good, because they're all so good. But this is one of my absolute favorites because I feel that it's speaking directly to me, and I have always been, how should I say this? I have always been, I guess, in a battle with using my voice. So from when I was a little girl, I didn't really speak to anyone except for my parents, but I would not speak to adults. I don't know why. I don't know if it was like a trust thing or what it was, if something happened in my childhood that made me not want to speak to anyone, but I had a hard time just speaking to people. So from that, I was told, from like elementary school, middle school, a little bit in high school, but not as much. I kind of started coming out of my shell, but I was always told that I was a shy or a quiet girl. And because I was told that so many times, I think maybe I already kind of was, but that just kind of reinforced it to make me more of that type of person, which is interesting. Just a little side note, when you think about your identity and how it was shaped by the identities that others gave you, like the labels that others gave you, if you were constantly told as a child that like you were this way or you were that type of child, you probably started to take on more of that label because of the fact that people were saying that about you, right? So I was always told that I was like a quiet, shy kid. So I think in turn, like I kind of took that on. And anytime I would speak, I felt like it wasn't important or people wouldn't hear me, or I would just have to try extra hard to get my voice out there. And I still have that belief a little bit inside of me, just because I've never been like a super loud, like person who needs attention. And so I think because of that, if I'm around other people that are like that, I kind of just like don't say much, or I just kind of like retreat into my shell and it's not because I'm like shy or like afraid of speaking. It's more so like I feel like it's too much energy to try to speak over others. So all that to say, I feel like it's been a battle my whole life to really speak my voice and what I believe is true into the world. And also because I think I just haven't been sure of my voice. So I think that can be a huge, that can be something that affects, the extent of using your voice as well, is if you don't have the confidence in what you are speaking. So for you, if you find that to be true of you, and maybe you are someone who is outgoing and you've really never had problems speaking or anything like that, but maybe you don't necessarily speak what you really want to speak because you're afraid of actually speaking what you believe, because either one, you're afraid of judgments or opinions from others, or two, maybe you're unsure exactly of what you truly do believe and what your values are, and like you're not 100% confident in your voice. So this has been something that I've really been working on the past couple of years, is really connecting deeper with the Lord and His truth so that they become my truths. So that when I speak, I can be 1000% confident in what I'm saying, instead of not speaking because I'm questioning what I'm saying, or speaking with not 100% confidence. So it's interesting though, because speaking is something that I feel very called to. And obviously from these videos, this has kind of been a trial run for me just to do this type of work, to speak on things. And it's not easy, like it's not, even making these little 10-15 minute videos is not easy. And a lot of times when I'm speaking, even right now, I'm like, what am I even saying? Does this make sense? I'm trying to make sure that I'm speaking what is true for me, but also speaking in a way that can be heard from you. And it's a hard thing to do. It's a skill. And I think the more that you practice it, the better you get at it, but also the more that you fill yourself with God's truth and God's promises, the more confidence you can have when you are speaking, because you know that He is speaking through you. And that is the number one prayer that I have been praying recently is, Lord, I want you to use me as a vessel to speak your voice into the world, whether that be on video like this through social media, whether that be through just my daily interactions with everyday people in my life, whether that be to my friends, you know, maybe they're reaching out, needing support, needing advice, whether that be through a small group. My friend and I are talking about doing a Bible study, right? Whether that be through a small group like that or an event that I'm doing, whether that be on a stage in front of a crowd. No matter what it is, I want to be able to use my voice in a way that the Lord can speak through me to others in a way where they are hearing exactly what needs to be heard from Him. His truth, His promises, His life, His love, all of those things. And if I can be a vessel for that, I feel that that is the most powerful thing, like ever. So I hope that you feel the same way. And I think to an extent, we all, like this is saying, we are voice. We all have this voice that is so crucial and so important to who we are. Like it talks about how when God created the world, He spoke life into existence. And we are made in His image. So when we speak, it is very powerful. We can, there's a verse that talks about the power of the tongue and how the tongue can either speak life or death. It's up to you. So I just encourage you to really pray and ask God to use you to speak life into the world, and whether that be just in your daily interactions or on a bigger scale of impact, because you're going to speak regardless. So you're either speaking life or you're speaking death. So I think this is just such a powerful reminder that our voice has so much power to impact, so much power to influence, and I think it's the coolest thing ever. And I want to continue to just get better at it. And I just appreciate you for being here to allow me this space to like practice speaking, because it's definitely something that I feel so called to, and maybe you do too. So let's end with a prayer. It says, Lord, thank you for making me in your image and gifting me with the power to speak life. I long to create as an extension of your hands and heart. Guide my words, show me how to declare the message and mission of my life fearlessly. Amen. Hopefully this was helpful for you today, and I hope you have an incredible rest of your day, and know that I'm so proud of you for being consistent with this, and go out there and speak life into the world. Speak life into each person you interact with today, whether that be the person at Starbucks, person at the grocery store, like wherever you are, and just know that you have so much power in your tongue, and ask God to use that for good, use that for life, use that to speak His truth and promises. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.